Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, and today I actually was going to do something different, but I had a really interesting experience last weekend. It's one I've done before, but I've just not. It was a different, a different way of handling it was last weekend, and that was there is a holiday marketplace that I go to in Salmon, Idaho, and it's a local thing. There's been a couple of ladies who established it almost 20 years ago now, and I've been involved for about 10 years. And it's just a place to go and sell your crafts, sell what kind of an art thing that you're working on. And this year was the first year it was in another person's hands because the ladies that were in charge of it had some other busy things that they were working on and couldn't quite handle this as well. But the lady that was in charge of it was really cool. But I wasn't sure because the location that we were having it at was having some shakeups going on there, and just being a really busy summer for me, getting my own stuff going online. These two channels here, YouTube and Odyssey, and then my own, all my other just day job type stuff. So I made the decision mid-October to finally go to this one, and it was a lot more interesting because it's the first time that I brought a lot of my the more metaphysical stuff to the art show, and it was totally clear. I wasn't surprising anybody, but what I thought was interesting was how many people show up, wander around, and then leave. They never purchase anything. They don't. They really are just looking around, which is fine, but from a personal standpoint, and this is just a way I feel about life anymore, you come to these places to support your local crafters. When you don't support your local crafters, but instead go to some place like Walmart, Target, fill in the blank big box store, and rather get the stuff there because it might be a couple dollars cheaper or whatever, I guess that's up to you. But to me, what I found interesting was the fact that not everybody has, because I purposely went around and asked because I was curious. I purposely went around and asked how many people there had websites. It was only 3 out of the 30 some odd people, and I was one of those 3. So you're not going to see a lot of these people's art unless you go to these art markets, and it's really super nice stuff. There was homemade. There was a lady there who had honey from her own hives. Let's see if I can get this to. Oops, too big. There we go. There was honey. She brought honey, and she'd flavored different ones. Like this one on one side, the lighter colored one is spiced rum vanilla bean honey. So it's got like a little bit of a spiced rum flavor with it, and there's actually a vanilla bean inside of it. And then there is the spiced chai, which is all seasoned from a mix that she made, which I thought was really cool. But she doesn't have a website. And then this lady here, she is one of my favorites. Oops, it's wrong direction. I buy at least one ornament from her every year just because she hand paints everything. She's a toll painter. She works at one of the local schools. And so this is her side hobby. She doesn't have a website. She does this. She paints the ornaments. They're all wood. She seals them all so that they last forever. I've got some from the first year that I was at the market, which was, about 10 years ago. They still look amazing. But then she painted, like in the middle, there is a cowbell. She actually found copper cowbells, so she'd had a bunch of those painted up. I'm a chickadee person, if you couldn't tell, because these are the ones that I picked up. But she also does different gift boxes. She does plates. She does wall hangings. But it's all toll painting, and it takes a lot of time. I've done toll painting. I'm not good at it. Will not ever say I'm good at it. But the thing is you would never know about those things if you didn't go to them. And we all had different size booths. I was kind of a space cadet and only took a few pictures, but this is from my area. I'll get this whole picture setting in thing one day. But it's like I have all of my pyramids and molds and things like that, the more metaphysical stuff. But then I also have all of my crocheted stuff, which is how I started with this market. like I said, at the beginning, I wasn't, in a lot of ways, I wasn't comfortable with sharing all of my metaphysical practices and beliefs. That's just because I wasn't quite comfortable with being open with that now. But now I'm more open with it, so I will bring stuff as the display here with all of my other type of interests. And people were really surprised because a lot of people had never even heard of things like orgone and subtle energy generators. And then there was other people who were shocked that someone like that would go to salmon, because salmon's kind of redneckish, which is awesome. But it also leads into that whole you don't know until you go type of a thing. But what I was thinking about as I was working on developing the video for this, and this one's free form, I don't have any notes, I have a couple of pictures I showed you, is this weekend in America, in the United States anyway, is Thanksgiving. Now, this is a time when we're supposed to, and I don't get into the political nonsense going along the lines of how we got Thanksgiving. That is for people who have no real goals in life and they just want to fight. Enough. We don't fight about every other holiday. Knock it off, is all I have to say there. Now, that being said, Thanksgiving is supposed to be about what its purpose is. Showing gratitude for the things that you have, showing gratitude for the things that you're around, and being grateful for the gifts that you've been given. Oddly enough, they couldn't do it on like they do with Halloween and Christmas and all the rest of these where they make everything commercialized. Thanksgiving is one of the few that doesn't have a huge commercial footprint in America. And the purpose is because it's supposed to be about being grateful. What are you grateful for? What is it that makes your heart sing? What is it that you look up every day and say, God, source, divine energy, thank you for whatever it is? That's this time period. This is supposed to be for families to get together in the United States. And I know Canada has theirs back, I think it's October or September. But Thanksgiving is kind of the same in every other country when you have this holiday, because not everybody has it. It's to bring yourself to that point of, what am I grateful for? What is it that I am thankful for in life? And we've commercialized everything because right after Thanksgiving, there's Black Friday. I will never participate in Black Friday. I do not go to any of the stores. You have a Black Friday sale the day after Thanksgiving, I'm not going to be there. I don't even go to the grocery store the day after Thanksgiving. That is like that. The day after Thanksgiving is not, I don't go out. I just don't. Personal opinion. But the one thing that I have thought was really interesting is in the last few years, probably the last 15, because time is weird to me, they do the small business Saturdays. And then they follow it up with Cyber Mondays, now that most of us do a lot of shopping online anymore. But the thing that I wanted to bring up was when you do Small Business Saturday, especially if you're going to farmers markets, you're going to artist markets, you're going to the various art bazaars that are going on, especially this time of the year, there's a lot of them. And almost every town has some version of it. So check your newspaper, check your town's website, whatever, but almost every town has something. And if your town doesn't, a town an hour away will. So look into what you can do to help support the small businesses. And the reason I even am going over this, going around to the 30 or so vendors that we had at this the marketplace this year, I was one of about 3 that had a website. That doesn't mean that the rest of the people's art isn't good enough to have a website. They just are too busy with everyday life, which happens. People who do online stuff, to me, have a bit of a privilege because they have been able to cut away a section of their time to develop the website, or have friends who can help them do it. I'm not tech savvy. I am lucky enough to have friends that can help me with a lot of this. But not everybody has that ability to have that website, to have that online presence that broader than their local town's reach. And that's, that may be what they want. That's fine. Like the lady that does the ornaments that I just showed, she doesn't want a website. She could easily do it. She has the time on the weekends. She doesn't want it because she does what she paints like she does because she loves to paint. So she does it mainly to help support, the local. She likes to do it to promote herself within the local community. And what my thoughts were today as I was making my plans for a video, and I threw them all out for next week because this was a very, very strong pull. Go check out your local art markets, your local bazaars, especially around the holiday seasons, because a lot of the times the people who are doing that, they don't do it anywhere else but in the local community. There are some people who do the bouncing around from every art market in the country, but a lot of your local stuff for your bazaars around the holidays, those are local people. They do this because it's something they enjoy and they want to share their art with somebody else. They want to share their gifts, whether it's making candy, making honey. There was a lady there that made bath scrubbing salts. She had essential oil like eau de toilette type stuff, and then she had an entire line of homemade jams and jellies. I make a lot of jams and jellies, so to me that's not that special. But and that's not saying what it was isn't special. For me personally, I didn't buy any because it's not something that I would buy. But the honey, yes, I did buy that. I buy the painting stuff. There's a few other gifts that I picked up that I'm not going to talk about on screen. And it's because their art was so unique. There is a lady and her husband, and I didn't pick one up because I don't have a big place, so it's not like I have room to set something like this. And as a gift, I have enough people in my family who do leather work that it wasn't something that I would probably pick up for them, but they took needles, and you can find them online. You can find them in different art markets as well. And I personally go to the art market. You can get the story behind what you're purchasing. Her husband makes pine needle baskets. They're all out of pine needles from the local area up around the Salmon area. The rosin cording that he uses is actually leftovers from a friend of theirs that does taxidermy work and tanning. They have leather that also comes from this other gentleman, and it's like his leftovers he doesn't use. So this lady that I'm talking about gets the scraps, and her husband uses those as the basis for his baskets. So on the bottom of it is leather that's actually from the valley, and then he builds the basket with all of the pine needles. They're all from the valley. So it's 100% a local thing. You're not going to find that everywhere. Like, those baskets are kind of unique to places that have lots of pine trees. But his version of them are unique to the Salmon Valley. So what I would say is, and this is just kind of, it's not an endorsement, I'm not getting anything out of this, really just promotion of people. Go check out your local art markets. Go check out your local farmers markets, especially during this time of the year where we're being thankful. Give your thanks to the people in your community. Do something to support them. You can go to Walmart any time of the year. You can go to any of these big box stores any time of the year. Why not help support your local community around Christmas, around Thanksgiving, around Yule, by promoting the people who you live around? Because a lot of these people, they put a lot of effort into this stuff. The lady that does jam, I make jam. Let me tell you, per 6 to 12 jars, depending on how big of a machine you have, or stove, you're there for up to 6 hours doing that small batch of stuff. Those baskets, I was talking to the lady about how long it takes her husband to make them. Each basket can take as long as 10 hours from beginning to end. They're putting a lot of time, they're putting a lot of effort, they're putting a lot of themselves into these products, and they want to share that with the people they're around. So just basically at this point, it's Thanksgiving, it's getting ready for the holiday craziness anywhere in the world, really. And see if you can support your local artists. See if you can support your local mom and pop shops. Because a lot of the times when you start roaming around and checking that stuff out, you're going to find amazing things that you're never going to find on a website, that you're never going to find at the big box stores. You're only going to find it because someone put their heart and soul and time into that product. So I'm not going to do any grifting at the end of this video. I just want you guys to think about it when you go out after Thanksgiving, where you're giving thanks for all the blessings that you have, think of how you can give back to your community, even if that's simply supporting a local artisan and craft maker with what they are building for the holidays. And the gifts that you will get and give from those places is going to have a lot more meaning because it was made by someone who put their heart and soul into it. Their passion is in their creation. So, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I will be back to more spiritual topics next week. But for this video, I was really feeling strongly about promoting the local farmers markets, the artist markets. And with that, I hope you have a safe Thanksgiving, safe travels. Even if you're not in America, spend some time this week giving thanks for the things that you have, the blessings that you have, and realize that even if you're not on the top of the pole, you still have a lot of things going for you. So with that, I will talk to you guys later.